Here is another beautiful day looking at C programming. And yesterday we have started the journey. And like I said, I'm going to recap. I'm going to recap because we had a delayed that yesterday. So we just make it so that the class can hold yesterday. So I'm going to recap what we have done yesterday and we start from there and we continue to what we have for today. So all these basic, they are very, very important. And as much as possible, I want at least 90%, 90% of this group should able to what to produce or replicate what I have taught. You should be able to display it at the end of this class. That will be my joy. That will be my joy. So please and please pay attention. If you don't understand, call my attention. Aspect you did not understand and you still want me to explain, don't just talk. Just drop the what the message or you raise up your hands and Ifunaya will call my attention to that. So thank you. I share my screen now. So today's topic is getting started with C programming. Getting started with C programming. That is the topic. Now, oh, sorry, let me open the Git bash because that's where most of our work will always be done, and we did that yesterday. So our topic for today is getting started. Let me create it in the README file. If you have your materials with you, you can start writing. If you have your material with you, please write. If you have your material with you, please write. If you have your material, write. Always come to this class with your writing materials. People that are just joining, please mute your mic. Never you unmute your mic. If you have question, drop the question in the income message. And if you want to talk, raise up your hand. Don't just burst into this meeting without being called. So we stop here for today. Now, so these are the topic we want to quickly look at this morning. We want to look at hello world in C, then C variables, print F variable, print text and variable, then changing value of variable. Now, before you will write your program in C language, number one, you have to have your header file. Number two, you have to have your entry point. And number three, you have your code block. And number four, you have your return statement. Those are the four steps that you need to know first. And how do we declare our header file? Now let me show it to you. You declare your header file by starting with your hash include stdio.h. Your stdio.h means what? Standard input output header file. So this is what we call our header file. Our header file. The next thing we need to do is to declare our entry point. And our entry point is usually main, then void. That is int main void. That's how to declare your entry point. After your entry point, the next thing is your code block. Is your code block. So this is our code block. This is the third thing to do. After your code block, the fourth thing you will do is to declare your return statement here. Your return statement, which is usually this way. So this is the syntax of writing C programming. That is the syntax of writing C programming. So let's master that. Make sure you understood this. Okay, before you can write your any C programming language, you need to declare your header file, your entry point, your code block, and your return statement. So having done that, the next thing we want to do, according to our topic, let me click on that and check the topic. So is what? We want to print hello. hello world. We want to, what will be our first program that we want to write. And to print hello world, we have what we call a function that we can use to print that hello world. Number one function we can use is printf function. And number two function we can use is puts function. And number three we can use is puts_char. So, and we are going to quickly look at those three functions that we want to use. So firstly, I want to use printf. I want to print hello. Let's put comma hello world. And let's put okay. So with this now, we can always print this out. By compiling. Now we have this file. This is the file. No, sorry, this is the file. We have the file. Then how do we make this file executable? The language we are having here, this hello world, nobody can understand this except the programmer. The end user does not understand what is #include stdio, what is int main void, and what is the code block, and what is return statement, and what is printf. The only thing they could relate with is that hello world, but they don't know what is going to generate or what is going to produce. So therefore, how do we make it usable? Usable for the for the user at the command line. Now, this place, this is not what we call command line. This one is back the scene. The back of the scene. So now we want to go to the command line. At this command line now, how do we produce what we have in this file? To do that, you need a compiler when it comes to C language. So your compiler, you use GCC. That stands for GNU compiler. I've forgotten the third C. That stands for that. Then you need to state the file name. This file name, I copied it. Let me paste it. This is the file name. So this file name, you need to output it. For you to output it, that is to direct it into a particular file that will be similar to this. So that when next you want to check for this file and you want to check for the executable file, you can always relate it with this source file. This one is called source file, while the file we are going to generate now is going to be called the executable file. So I am outputting whatever that is coming here. I'm directing it through this -o or -o. I'm outputting it into this file. So this file now will now be called the executable file, while this one is called the source file. Now I press enter. Now I have compiled my code without error. So let's see. This is the file now. It has become executable. When you see it in a green color, depending on the setting of the system you are using. So this is our source file, while this one is our executable file. Now let us call this executable file. This executable file is inside this directory. So that is why we are going to type dot This dot means what? Current directory, which is this is the current directory. And we put slash. We know the work of slash is to separate a directory. So to tell us that what? Whatever we want to call is inside this current directory. And we are calling this one now. We want to execute it. So that is it. Now press enter. Now we have our hello world. With the use of what? Printf. With the use of printf, we have it. All right, thank you for that. GNU compiler collection. GNU compiler collection. That's the full meaning of this GCC. Now, so we have printed using what? Printf. Now we move to how to use puts s. It's like I have it here before, so I'm going to delete it. I have put s before, which is I'm going to delete it so that I can produce another one. By using rm-r to remove the puts s that I'm having, both the executable file and the source file. I'm removing the two. I've done that. I don't have it here again. I don't have it here again. Oh, I'm still having this. So let me delete this. So I'm not having it there again. So let me open another one. Put s. So by first declaring my header file, which is what? Hash include stdio.h. I declare my entry point, which is int main, then entry point then void. Then I declare my code block. Inside my code block, I'm to have what? Return statements. I'm to have return statements. So before I write my put s, so this is put s performing the same function, the same thing with our printf, but they have their differences. Which I'm going to point at. I will point at the differences for us after we print this put s program. So by me still using what? The GNU compiler collection. Then I want to output it by typing -0 into puts s. Now it compiled without what? An error. So I want to list it. This is the put s, which is the source file. This is put s executable file. Now I want to call this executable file, which it is in this current directory. Because it's in current directory, I will press what? /, and press enter. Now I have it. Look at this and consider this place. Can you see this empty space? Look at this. this one I wrote before, hello message, and compare the difference. Now, when it was written at no line, no new, no space, no new line. But here, there is new line, there is space. So to tell us the differences between print F and put S is that we automatically and by default put S will always add new line. Put S will always add new line. Print F will never add new line until you specify it. Mr. Mawale. Difference between put S and print F is that, okay, let me try to display it again. Now, this is our put S. This one is called the source file, while this one is called the executable file. Now, I want to call this executable file, which is in the current directory here. Because it is in current directory, I will put my dot slash. This slash, we know we use it to separate directories. Now, okay, this file here now, this put S, is what is inside this current directory. That's what it means. So now when I type it, this is hello world. And let's consider this place. We can see a new line here. Whereas in our code, we have not put any new line. We have not put any new line, but by default, put S will add the new line for us. But let's see, printf. Does printf add the new line by default? Does it add the new line? So let's see. Let's check that. We know this is our what? Printf. This is our printf file. Now this is the executable file. Now, this is the hello world. And we see there is no what? No new line. But here, there is new line. And let's enter into that hello world. So this is it. For it to produce a new line, we need to specify by what? By using your backward slash n. Backward slash n character. This thing is called is known as character. But it's indicated as what? As a new line. New line. So let us see now and try to compile it. I want to output it into a new file. So let me do hello. So now I want to call it out. Sorry, that's not a complete file. All right, it still printed it out. That's fine. So until so this file, hello, this executable file. So I added a new line to this one. So make it what to generate this new line here. Sorry, where is it? To generate the new line here. But when it comes to this one, it has no new line when I would compile that code. So let me call it out now. Can you see? This one does not have a new line. Now, we want to move to the third one, to the third function, which is put char. What does put char do? Why is put char different from put s and print f? Put char we only print one character at a time. We only print one character at a time. Now, this your H is one character. Your E is another character. Your L is another character. This L is another character. This O is another character. This comma is another character. Your space is also a character. Your W is a character. Your O is a character. Your L is a character. Your L is a character. Your D is a character. Your exclamation mark, they are all character. If you now put char here, if you said you are using put char here, put char will not print all these things for you. Let us try it. Let's give it a try. Let me try to remove the new line. Or don't let me mess this up. Let me create a new file for it. I have it here already. So let me delete it. Let me remove it. All right, it's gone. So let's see if Putcha will able to print all these characters for us.
Hello, good morning. One is enough. Yeah, sorry to disturb you. I want to confront me.
Now we have our Putcha. So let us compile it. And we see throwing error for us. Why? Let's see the error. Warning, passing argument 1 of Putcha makes integer from pointer without a cast. Before we can print something like this, there is a way we can still use Putcha to print all these character, but we have to introduce either array or we use pointer to do that. So which will be advanced for us for now. So I'm not doing that for now. Later we are going to see how we can use array and pointer to print. I mean, using array and pointer with Putcha to print characters. So we are going to see that. So that is not for today. In the next class, whenever we get there, we are going to do that. So what does Putcha now do? how do we do it? It prints what? One character at a time. It prints one character at a time. So let's go back to it again. Let me see. Actually, if you want to use, in fact, you don't even recognize, so let's forget about that. Now, we said, well, it prints one character at a time. I'm going to reduce the number of characters so that to save this time. All right, let me quickly print all. Let me print all. This cover much. So, you know, after our hello world, there is space. So you leave the space. You don't put anything there. No, is it space now? No, it's comma. So it's comma. Indicate your comma. Your comma too is a character, like I have explained. Your space is also a character. Your space is a character. You leave the space empty. We don't put anything. Then before another word or another character, I mean, which is word, W. Another one, another character, another character, while lastly, is also a character. Now, you can also add new line. Let's put new line. To print your new line, use your backwards /n. That is your new line. Now, let us compile. We want to compile. Wow, we have this already. Okay, didn't I delete this? So let me delete this. All right, so we want to compile this to make it executable. And to do that, we use our GCC put star. Then we output it by typing -o. Then we output it to put star. Now it's compiled without error. So let's execute it by calling it. Now we have the hello world. The new line we have added is also what? Reflected. So this is how to use put star to print characters. It will only print one character at a time. This is one character. This is another character. This is another character. This is another character. So, and so on and so forth. So that is about that. We have come to the conclusion of what? Hello world. By now, you should know the difference between. So, Mr. Mari, please pause the video. The summary of this class now. Okay, Mr. Wale, you can continue with your recording. If you are ready, let me know. Okay, all right. Okay, so the summary of what we have done since morning is this. Number one, declaration of header file, which is hash include, then open bracket, that is your less than sign, stdio.h, then you close it, the bracket, which is your what, your greater than sign. You move to the next line, you declare your entry point, which is int main void. Int main void, your void in your what, in your bracket. That is, that bracket is called parenthesis. Then after that, you open your curly braces, which is known as your code block. Inside your code block is where you want to write your code, and you give it a return statement. Now, inside our code block, we use printf to print hello world. We use puts to print hello world. We use putchar to print hello world. What are their differences between printf, puts, and putchar? Please drop your answer in the echo message, everybody. Thank you. I'm waiting. The differences between puts, printf, and putchar. Thank you. Thank you. Now, the differences between puts, printf, and putchar is that puts by default we add a new line, while printf will not add a new line by default, while putchar can only print one character at a time. Now we've come to the end of that. Let's move to the next topic, to the next subtopic. So we've covered this. We want to move to variable. We want to move to C variables. Now, if you have question or you have something to say, drop it in the income message. By variable. What is a variable? Now, variable is a container that store data, it store values. Let me come down to our level. Variable is like a purse where you put your money. You save your money inside your purse or inside your bag. That is variable. So variable is a container that holds data. And variable can store different types of data. As we have different types of currency in Nigeria, we have different units of currency. I mean to say, in Nigeria we have 5 naira, we have 10 naira, we have 20 naira, we have 50 naira notes, we have 100 naira notes, we have 200 naira notes, we have 500 naira notes, we have 1000 naira notes. If you have all these notes with you, you always put them inside your purse or inside your bag or inside your pocket. Your pocket, your purse, and your bag stand as a variable. While those money, they are called your data. They are called your values. So anytime you want to make reference to your money, you will go to your purse or you go to your bag. So same thing is applicable when it comes to variables. Now, what type of variables, that is, what type of currency do you want to bring out from your purse? Is it the 5 naira note? Is it the 10 naira note? Is it the 20 naira note? Is it the 50 naira note? Is it the 100 naira note, 500 naira note, or 1000 naira note you want to bring out? Depending on you and whatever money, currency you want to put inside your purse is also what? Left over to you. It's left over to you. You want to determine that. And that will lead us to what we call what? Data type. That will be another thing. We are not talking about data type now. So what we need to know now, how do we declare a variable? How do we declare a variable? I repeat, how do we declare a variable? Usually known as what? Variable declaration. You call it variable declaration. How do we do that? Now, let me show it to you. We still include your words, your hash include, which is the what? Your passport. To write a C program, your key. Without it, you cannot write anything called C programming. How do you declare variable? For you to declare a variable, it must have what we call what? Data type. This will lead me to a data type anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to cover the two. We have what we call what? Data type and your variable name. Then you terminate it. This is how to declare a variable. A variable when it comes to C programming language. That's how to declare a variable. Please get your writing materials and write all these things down. Jot it down. This is how to declare a variable. It will have what we call data type and the variable name. Then you will terminate it with this semicolon. It's just like when you are writing a sentence. Your sentence must end with what? With full stop or with dots. So that is how to declare it. Now, your variable, remember we said what? Variable name. Name, it is a name. So you can choose any name you like. You can choose any name you like as your variable. If you like, you can say your variable name is Ladderman. And the variable name you want to use is what? Is Ladderman. And you terminate it. You can say the variable name you want to use is Ezekiel. And you terminate it. You can decide that the variable name you want to use is what? Is A. And you terminate it. That is what? How to declare a variable. But we are not yet through. We are not yet done because we are yet to state our data type. Now, quickly, let me introduce what we call data type. Data type has to do with what? The type of data that you want to what? You want to save. Like I said, different type of currency. Units. Different type of notes that you want to put inside your purse. Now, data type. Example of data type, we have number one, we have int, usually known as what? Integer. integer. Number 2, we have are, usually known as character. Number 3, we have floats, usually known as floats. Number 4, we have double, usually known as double. Number 5, we have long ints, long ints, usually known as long ints. We have 6 long ints, and so on and so forth. So let me stop here. This one are the common one, the common one. So as we progress, we can always talk on the remaining data type. But for now, let us stop here. And I want you to pay attention to this, int, char, float, and double. So this is what we call what data type. Now, if you now want to store your value, okay, let me quickly explain. What do we mean by what? This integer. What do we mean by what? Integer. Integer simply means a whole number. A whole number. That is a number with no decimal point. A number with no remainder. It is a whole number, not a fractional number and not a decimal number. But we are talking of a whole number. 1 is a whole number. 2 is a whole number. 0 is a whole number. 4 is a whole number. 5 is a whole number. 6, 10 is a whole number. 1000 is a whole number. So such number I've mentioned are known to be what? An integer. They are known to be an integer. So if you now want to store this data type, that okay, the data type you want to store is an integer. Therefore, you declare the what? The data type. You declare that data type. That okay, this data type I want to store is an integer. Therefore, let's quickly look at that. What we are going to do. So how do we do that? Now, coming to this place, this is data type. We want to declare a variable name. So let me come down. This data type that I want to store is integer. It's integer. So therefore, I will type my int. This int stands for what? Represent this data type, int. Then the variable name. Like I said, you can call it any name. Any name. So let me use cohort 12. Cohort 12 as my variable name. So this is what we call what? Variable declaration. Variable declaration. Variable declaration. Now, everybody, quickly and declare a variable for me by sending it into this income message. Declare a variable with a char or with a character. Okay, declare a character variable for me. Declare a character variable for me. Please quickly drop it in the income message before counting to 10. 1. I could see the answers. Now, let me point out our errors. Laurie, you copied mine. That one is not accepted. Give me your own. Give me your own right now. Now, I can see some confusion. So let me clear it out. Let me clear those doubts. Lauren, I'm still waiting for your answer. All right. Okay. Lauren, I'm still waiting for your own answer. I'm here to see it. Now, let me point out our mistakes. Let me point out our mistakes. Some people wrote it this way. So this is wrong. This is wrong. It is a variable. The variable does not carry quotation. Variable does not carry quotation. It does not carry quotation. You don't put quotation in your variable name. So some of you are putting quotation. Put quotation. Wrong. So if you are declaring your variable, you have to what? Variable name and assign value. Want to value now, then carry quotation. It's still a variable declaration. I hope we are our mistake now. And especially in that chart, because some of you are putting quotations, some of you did not put what? You did not put your terminator. You only type chart C and you did not put the terminator, your full stop, your ending point, which is your semicolon. You did not put it, so it is wrong. Then you don't start a variable with number. You don't start variable name with a number. You don't start variable name with a number. And you don't start, I'm coming, don't let me confuse this. Actually, in the next class, so I'm going to list the perfect way of declaring, of writing our variable names. That will be in the next class. So, now, let me answer the question that Ladderman asked. Will it be applicable here? No, it's not here. Okay, yeah. Oh, no. Now, what we are having here is also an integer. It's also an integer, but have its own different function. It has its own different operation. What you can use your, sorry, I'm relating it to Nigeria. Okay, don't let me put the symbol. Now, what you can use your 50, I don't know how to put it to, okay, let me use dollar. What you can use your $50 to purchase is quite different from what you can use your $100 to purchase. So to tell you that what, they are both currencies, but they have their different operation, they have their different units. So the work of that int that we are seeing here, the work of the int we are seeing here is different from this one we are declaring our variable name. It's different. This one has to do with what? With this return statement. I don't have it here, so let me put it. It's working along with this. Okay, if the code we are running runs successfully, it should return 0 for us. When it returns 0, it's a success. And when it returns any number that is non-zero number, then is not a success. That is what that means. There is an error. At times our code will still compile without giving us what any error, but we will not have the right result we are looking for. So we know that yes, there is still an error, and it will compile, it will return the zero, but yet we are not having the right result. That it does not return any number apart from the zero does not mean that code is correct. In as much as what you are yet to have the right result. But what it does are what, okay, every syntax, every conditions, they are correct, so it will run successfully. But your condition, if you want to solve a problem, there is always a particular way to achieve that result, so which what that code is unable to do. But following every process, you've passed all the process, but there are still some things which still make it not to produce the right results. At times you will compile your code, it will not give you an error, and yet you will not have the right result. So you'll be wondering what could be the cause. So just go back and rethink again. Code is all about what? Logical thinking, logical reasoning. So that it that you ask, ladder man, the it is different from that one at the entry point, which I have cleared that. But this it is refers to your what? Your variable. It's not about the return type now. It's not about return type. So thank you for that message. All right. So let's see the next topic. Now we've known how to declare a variable. Let us see how to assign value to our variable. How to assign value to our variable. So I'm going to clear all this away now. Now, how do we assign value to our variable? This one is called variable declaration. So this is called variable declaration. Now, let us move towards what we call initialization. Initialization of variable. There is difference between variable declaration and initialization of variable. If you are talking of variable declaration, that means you are not assigning value to it. Now, when it comes to what? Initialization of variable, that means you want to pass value to it. So, in this our variable equals to 10. Now, since we are passing value to these words, to this cohort 12, this is called initialization of variable. So this is what? Initialization of variable. That is, this sign we are looking at is called what? Assignment operator. We call it assignment operator. This sign we are looking at, we call it assignment operator. While this one is our value, known as your data. So the 10 that I passed to that cohort 12 is called data. It's called your data. And what type of data is 10? It is an integer. That is why what? We declare an integer here. Because this 10 that I want to pass inside this cohort 12 is a what? Is a whole number. Therefore, I will declare my integer. So this cohort 12 now is now storing. It is holding this 10. It is holding this 10. So that means what? Anywhere I see cohort 12, it represents 10. Anywhere I see 10, it represents cohort 12. Because I have assigned 10 by using this what? The assignment operator to cohort 12. So it means that what? Our variable is equals to 10, whose data type is an int. Is an int. Whose data type is an int. Now, if you want to pass value for floats, now, what is float? Float is a decimal number. Is a decimal number. That is, it could be 2.4, it could be 5.8, it could be 9.01, it could be 25.679. Those are what we call floats. They are called decimal number. And you declare it this way. Because I want to pass, let me see, use cohort 12. So this is floats. So that will be answered in the next declaration. So this is floats. Now, if you are declaring a character now, when it comes to character, okay, what you want to declare is character. You can always do it this way. A, or if you're having more than one character, and to declare that, we introduce this. So either we declare it as an array or as a pointer, This is too advanced for you now. So when it comes to this, so that will be what? H, comma, space, O, comma, L, comma. So this one is what? More than one character. In that case, we should still put some additional information here, which is what? Either as an array, by declaring the number of array. Let's say the number of array we want is 10. That is, every character here we want to print will be what? Will be 10. Or we use what? A pointer. Before we can write things, when we are using the pointer, then this becomes, we write it this way as a string. So this is what we'll be having. So I don't know. Okay, Mr. Mawale. Now we have come to the end of this class. Thank you. See you tomorrow. So Mr. Wale, you can pause the video.